Hello everyone. I'm so happy that Paper Avalanche is on the shortlist for the Warwickshire Book Award, and I'm going to now answer some questions that some of you have had about Paper Avalanche. So here we go. So Alyssa from Hartsill School has asked, who does your favourite character remind you of in real life? I was trying to think about this, and I actually think that I don't think any of my characters remind me of anyone in real life. And I think that's because I'm always really careful not to base my characters on real people, just because that's sort of quite dangerous territory sometimes, rather than I take little tiny bits of people, and sometimes I don't even realise I'm doing it. So my characters are kind of entirely made up. One thing I will say with Paper Avalanche is that because it explores what life is like having a compulsive hoarder for a parent. I read quite a few memoirs of people who had, lived that experience. And in one of the memoirs, it was a book called Dirty Secret by a writer called Jessie Scholl, I think. And she'd grown up in a house where there was hoarding. And there were aspects of her mum in the book, who's a real woman, that did kind of influence Bonnie, but this isn't somebody I know in real life. But certainly I think reading about this experience, I couldn't help but maybe take little details and aspects of that character and put them into Bonnie. The next question I've been asked is, how have your own experiences influenced the genres you choose to write in? And that's a question from Leah. I love writing contemporary because I kind of fascinated with real life. I think real life can be really magical. And when I was a child and a teenager, I loved contemporary stories. I wanted to read about young people just doing regular stuff and seeing how they would deal with situations that maybe I would find myself in. So that's definitely sort of why I like to write in those genres. And I think it's just a really interesting way of us getting to, put ourselves in someone else's shoes. So I really want anyone reading my books to perhaps, it not always necessarily be an experience that they will have, but it'll be something that, they might be curious about, and reading one of my books might be a chance to see what that might feel like, live a life from a different point of view for a bit. So I definitely think that sort of my fascination with sort of the extraordinariness in ordinariness I'm interested in. So I think that's something I'll always want to write about, even though I occasionally love reading something sort of fantasy or sci-fi. I think I'll always come back to contemporary because real life is kind of magical. And the final question is from Darcy, and it's, are any of your books based on personal experiences? And no, not really. I like to write about opposites. So I say I like to write about real life, but not necessarily my real life, mainly because when I was a teenager it was really boring. I had a really boring childhood and teenage years. And actually, even though I don't think anybody's life is truly boring, but I don't think necessarily if I put my teenage years on a page, it would make an exciting plot, for example. So I think about what kind of characters really interest me. So with Paper Avalanche, I saw a documentary that featured a woman who was a hoarder, and she had a son who was a teenager, and I couldn't help thinking, I was like, what would that be like? What if? I kept asking myself, what if, over and over again, and that's often where my stories come from. And so for me, it's finding those sort of what if questions that come up, and it's the ones that I can't stop thinking about the possible answers to that often then are the stories that I end up pursuing. So for example, with All About Me, my second book was about a middle child, and I kind of kept thinking, what would it be like to be a middle child and to be sandwiched between like really high achieving siblings? What would that be like? What if? And from there, sort of the story develops. So in all my books, the things that the characters are going through, I've never been through myself, yet I love putting myself in their shoes and just seeing what that would be like. And that's your job as a writer, to try on other people's lives for a bit and see what that might be like. And for me, definitely, that's what I like doing. I'm really attracted to experiences that aren't quite like mine when I was growing up, but are possibly things that I would have been curious about, perhaps. So that's my long rambling answer to Darcy's question. And thank you so much to everyone for their questions. And thank you so much to anybody who sort of read, who's voted for Paper Avalanche. As I say, very sad I that none of us can be there today, but so pleased that Paper Avalanche is on your list, and yes, can't wait to find out the outcome of the awards. So I hope you all have a brilliant week. Stay safe. Take care. Bye.